After setting up camp Thursday evening, Chris and Naomi drove us to see Surveyor's Lake. It was closed, but we did see an interesting tree. The water for the public showers is completely solar heated. If the sun's not shining, you have a cold shower. A pretty rock beside the shower house. The late evening sky is beautifully reflected on the lake. The sun sets and we're off to bed. Here's an interesting piece of driftwood. Looking north, we see the highway bridge. Our camp as seen from the lake shore. A view looking south down the lake. These wildflowers were incredibly small, with each cluster of petals being about the size of a watch battery. The beach trail we used to return had a beautiful rock beside the signpost.
And that is Chris and Joshua down on the beach with Indio.
Oh, there's Mia as well. Didn't see her in behind Indio.
Are you okay if I leave
Jackson is not a happy camper at the moment. I think he wanted to help take the dogs for a walk.
I want to go to bed, Mom. I'm tired, Mommy. My bedtime, Mommy.
Smile, Naomi.
My tumor's been growing rapidly. That's what we'll call her. We'll name her Tumor.
Little tumor.
You should have called me Ribcage Kicker.
Just an FYI, your brother is sleeping. Whoever wakes him up gets to stay up with him tonight.
For the rest of the day, we just took it easy and stayed around the campsite. After lunch, we took a trip to Surveyor's Lake to enjoy the playground, the beach, and go for a hike. Nicole works extremely fast to get sunscreen put on Jackson before the sun burns him to a crisp. Safe and secure at last. The kids play at the park at a frantic pace, so they can move along to the beach where the real fun is. Jackson, what a nice pose. Thank you. After feeding every mosquito in the playground, everybody rushes to the beach. Notice the beautiful green ring out in the middle of the lake. I wish I had a canoe so I could have a closer look. Craving a seafood supper, Joshua frantically digs for clams. Should I ruin his day and tell him he will not find any? Joshua finds a pretty stone. Chris won't let me go swimming, so I'm leaving. This inflatable beach toy was huge. This pond scum is nature's motivation to keep people on the path. Tree roots are natural trip hazards on the pathway to Surveyor's Lake. These scenic shots were all taken along the pathway to Surveyor's Lake. I think these might be the eggs of some insect. We have arrived at the footbridge, where rumor tells us we can see some turtles and possibly some fish. Some trees in bloom. A kayaker paddles under the bridge. We see turtles! A previous visitor had a much better view of the turtles than we did, as their photograph shows. Seeing these turtles brings back memories for me. I had 2 of them as a teenager, and ended up donating them to the zoo when they got too big to look after. At that point, they were about 8 inches long and about 6 inches wide, and had outgrown a 65-gallon aquarium. We were trying to figure out what species of fish these were, and a passerby told us they were bass. Personally, I don't believe that is correct. I think they're probably a species of trout. Looking out across the calm waters of the lake, we get a beautiful reflection. A loon takes a leisurely swim out in the middle of the lake. I was using about a 20 times zoom to capture this shot. An interesting blossom amongst the reeds. Naomi and Josh believe they're well hidden in the bush. Guess what? We can see you. We see a few more interesting things on our walk back to the parking lot. Back at camp, we watch a beautiful sunset as we enjoy some campfire time. Chris and Jackson. Here is a rare shot of a frequently heard but seldom seen brown-eyed Rocky Mountain barking spider. It usually appears in the late evening and barks at campers congregating around the fire pit. The barking episodes become more frequent after indulging in beer and pretzels. The moon illuminates clouds in the midnight sky. Everything looks so nice and fresh after a fairly heavy rain in the wee hours of the morning. Campsites were strategically placed between mounds of dirt to give the campers privacy. These sites had electrical hookups and were much less private. This dainty little flower is my closing shot for a wonderful weekend. A huge thank you to my kids for going out of their way to make this weekend super special for us.